We're talking to Lily Lapenna just at this stage, because you teach children how to manage their money, how to save, how to borrow. Do you go as far as teaching them about shares in the markets as well?
We believe it's really important to be teaching young people financial issues that are relevant to their lives. So we'll start off by teaching them about things that they will start to come across as they grow into young adults. So we'll look at the sort of benefits that they will have access to and how to manage those, like EMA benefits as they go into college. And we'll also start by looking at what happens when they get into the world of work, where they will have to...
This gets important as they get older. They're going to have to learn about reward, but also about risk.
Absolutely. It is very important that they do that. So we do start introducing ideas around investment shares, ethical investments, and the choices that they can make around those.
All right, Lily, thank you. We'll hear more from you, of course, later in the programme.
Time now to find out a little bit more about our guest of the day. Lily Lapenna runs MyBnk. Now, this encourages young people to save, and it helps them borrow money to try out their own business ideas.
Well, it's helped them start up things like school magazines and stalls at music festivals. And Lily says she got the idea while travelling and working in places like Zimbabwe and Bangladesh, where microloans are used to help poorer people start up their own small businesses. Lily, come over and join us. So let's just be clear about what the MyBnk actually is. It sounds like a combination between a sort of a savings club and then a small loan service for kids who want to dabble their hands in business.
Absolutely, that's right. So we combine the saving element, which looks more at personal money management, and the loan element, which looks more at business skill development, enterprise skill development. And the great thing about it is that we get young people running these schemes themselves. So you have typically 12 young MyBankers who are running these mini banks within schools and colleges across London currently and the South East.
And they can take loans. That's the idea. But where does that capital come from?
The capital comes from seed funding put in by host institutions. So typically the school will put that money in there as a sort of risk that they're taking on their students to encourage them to develop enterprise skills.
And you're also paid as a charity to train people as well.
We are. Yes, we go into schools and we'll train the young people to run the banking scheme. We'll provide them with an online service that sees them throughout the academic year, and we do provide support as they go through the banking scheme. The other thing we do is deliver a series of workshops that reinforce the learning around financial and enterprise education.
I'm glad you said workshops, because the thought of youngsters having to sit in row after row after row of desks listening to someone talking about money is probably not the best way they'd like to spend a double period.
Absolutely. And that was our main concern when we started off, what a dry subject financial education is. And so what we do is we use a lot of props, we use a lot of participatory learning, we use music and get them up doing lots of different games like Twister Mats and Money Dominoes. So it's a very interactive and fun day. And the sort of things young people will say is that they feel like they're learning, but not really learning, so it's kind of disguised learning.
How does this help? Why do you think any of this is important?
It's really important, and I think we've seen it a lot recently with the recession. It's important to have young people grow into informed consumers of financial service, to make them more aware of how they can use services around them to work in their favour rather than against them, to make them develop a better credit history, to allow them to distinguish between good and bad debt, and if they are in debt, to understand how to prioritise that debt. But also it really equips them to face the challenges, you know, around money that one has in the sort of modern day society.
I suppose we'd all have been better off if we knew a little bit more when we were children.
Anything.
I mean, were you taught much when you were younger? What kind of gave you the idea that children or younger people needed this education?
I wasn't taught anything about money, and it was considered vulgar to even talk about money within my family. And as I grew up and went into university, I started being exposed to a series of banks and credit cards and store cards, and it was like a maze that was really hard to navigate. And I realized that very quickly my friends were getting into spiraling debt. So the sort of statistics show that 90% of adults have never been exposed to any form of financial education. So there seems to be a real need for this.
And this is small quantities, microfinance. Where did that idea come from?
That came from my background, as well. My interest has always been in poverty alleviation and social change. I worked in Bangladesh following a degree in development studies, and there I came across this incredible financial tool, the microfinance tool. And I realized when I was there that it isn't only a fantastic financial tool to get women and families out of poverty, but it's also a brilliant educational tool. So the sort of thing that you learn by being involved in a non-formal savings scheme, but also by taking out a small loan, is vast. So you'll learn business skills, communication skills, and all these skills are transferable, in my opinion, to young people here in the UK who are not yet in the work market and who will be facing a very diverse job market. And
the thing about microfinance is that it is small donations. You're talking about it being used in places like Bangladesh. It could be £10 to help a widow set up her own grocery store or start a local laundry service for the village or something. And £10 might not be an awful lot to us, but the impact is huge.
Absolutely. It's changing millions of people's lives. It's a ladder out of poverty.
OK, Lily, really good to speak with you. Good luck with the charity. It's interesting hearing how it's working. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Lily, just another thought from you. Of course, the schools have gone back in the last couple of weeks or so. I'm assuming start of school year is a fairly busy time for you to try and sign up new schools every year.
Absolutely, yeah. We tried to sign them up at the end of the last academic year to get them started in September early on, incorporate the banking scheme into the full academic year.
Right. Lily, thanks so much for coming in here for us today. Richard, good to see you as well.
Thank you very much.
And we're back at 12:30 tomorrow.
Plenty coming up. We're going to get your answers, answers to your questions on debt.
Friday, of course, the day when we put an expert on the spot with those questions. Still time to email them to us, of course.
Yes, and Rob is ducking and diving at a new management consultancy. It thinks the secrets of success are found in the boxing ring.
Well,
I'm glad we didn't give it a try.
From this purple corner, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.